We're off to the races, the awards races that is, as the season officially kicks off with the Golden Globe nominations that were announced this morning. First, I'm going to share my initial thoughts before going into each film category to discuss them in detail. And I have to say, I think you're going to be very happy with this year's nominations. This is one of those rare years where the industry and audiences seem to be on the same page. And we'll see how that affects ratings. Now, of course, also, these are going to be a much bigger pool of nominations because the Golden Globe splits them into two categories, and the Oscars does not do that. So a number of these people aren't going to make the final cut. But there are some very good surprises here, and perhaps they're able to be accommodated because of the wider field of nominations. So what are the big surprises? Well, never count out Harvey Weinstein. This guy is indeed the Oscar Whisperer. I call him that every year, and every year he earns the name again. He seemed pretty much out of the race for a number of his films, but at the end of the day, when it counted, with the big game, the Golden Globes, and surely the Oscars coming up, he gets his films in there. And not just in there, but in there in a big way. You're going to see multiple nominations across the board for his films. He got The Imitation Game in there. It wasn't looking so good for that movie, but the biggest surprises are that he got St. Vincent on the board, and also Big Eyes, the Tim Burton film, which has had almost no awards traction and mixed reviews. But at the Golden Globes, it's nominated in multiple major categories. Then also a welcome surprise was that Selma did very well in the nominations, and that was something people were worried about after SAG shut it out yesterday with their nominations, and it seemed like it might be a repeat of The Butler, but not the case. Then also Grand Budapest Hotel, not forgotten. It looked for a while there, especially in the indie awards circuit, where it was getting kind of left out or ignored for Boyhood and Birdman. Same thing happening to The Imitation Game. Now both those movies show up here in a big way. Also Nightcrawler, not a lot of nominations, actually just one for Jake Gyllenhaal, but at least he didn't lose all that weight for nothing. And then also, I think you guys will be very happy to see Gone Girl, not just here in one category for Best Actress, which people were expecting, but you're going to see it here in multiple categories. We'll see if this is something that's repeated at the Oscars, but this is a big win for that movie, and I think a big audience pleaser. I think people will be very happy to see this recognized. And I didn't like the film, as I'm sure many of you will be bringing up in the comments, but you know what? When you look back at it, hindsight, it did at least provoke a reaction from me. Even if it wasn't favorable, it provoked a reaction from a lot of people. And even if I don't like what it said, it was definitely saying something about relationships, and that must be what the industry is deciding to reward. And you can't argue with that. All right, so let's dive into these nominations. We're going to start out with Best Picture Drama, and here we have Boyhood, Foxcatcher, The Imitation Game, Selma, and The Theory of Everything. I'm going to try and predict the winner when I can. It's going to be tough because these are all really strong films. That's another thing this year. It's hard to pick a winner because the contenders are so good. I'm not sure who would even win here. I think Boyhood probably has a really good shot, as well as Selma and The Theory of Everything. I think Foxcatcher and The Imitation Game, getting in there might be the best that they can do. Then Best Picture, Comedy or Musical. Birdman, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Pride. This was a surprise. Pride is a UK film which is about LGBT activists who go and help out some miners with their strike in the 1980s. It's a little bit of a Full Monty vibe, Kinky Boots, same kind of category of filmmaking there, and those are all very celebrated films as well. So it's very interesting to see it pop up here, and also in the main category, not in foreign film. Although I don't think UK. I think it has to be foreign language, of course. Yes, that's the instance. But it's so rare to see a foreign film in these main categories. It's easy to forget the exact qualifications for which section you can be in. And you know, sometimes films cross over, but again, it's very rare. And they're usually a little bit more high profile than this, like something like Life is Beautiful. But for Pride to get in there, that's going to help that film in a big way. Then St. Vincent. St. Vincent, Best Picture. Don't expect this to be something that makes it to the Oscars, but this is a big boost for this movie. It did very nicely at the box office. Not huge, but I think this is going to help it really make a lot of money in the streaming on-demand DVD market. So that's very exciting. And it's very exciting for Bill Murray's career. So moving on to Best Actor Drama. We've got Steve Carell in Foxcatcher. Great to see him nominated. People were hoping that that would happen. He's very good in the movie. Benedict Cumberbatch for The Imitation Game. Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler. Here's his nomination. That's great for him. David Oyelowo as for Selma for playing Martin Luther King Jr. And Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. What a category. And we haven't even gotten to the other half of it. I mean, there's a wonderful group of male performances this year. Actress category you're going to see is a little weaker, which made for some interesting choices. But here, I'm not quite sure who I would even, I would say the front runner would probably have to be Eddie Redmayne because they've divided it the way it is. Because Michael Keaton's over in comedy. So Best Actor Drama, I'm gonna put my money on Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything. Then let's move over to Best Actor Comedy or Musical, where we see Ralph Fiennes for The Grand Budapest Hotel. Such a good performance. So glad to see him back here, and that he wasn't forgotten as he has been, as I said, in the earlier nominations in the indie field. Michael Keaton for Birdman. I think this might be Michael Keaton's year. You can just feel the industry getting behind him. Then also Bill Murray for St. Vincent. That's just fantastic for him. Not only is his movie overall nominated, but he's nominated. He's going to have a lot of offers on the table, probably starting like right about now. I'm sure his agent and manager are fielding a lot of calls. Joaquin Phoenix for Inherent Vice. The Oscars don't like him, but the Golden Globes do. And he's also the only nomination for that film, by the way. He does a very nice job in it, but I think that not to nominate Josh Brolin, and he's not nominated for Best Supporting Actor, kind of doesn't, pay appropriate respect to the kind of the duo they had going there. I think a lot of that film's success, and in my opinion, its only success, is in their chemistry. But he's nominated, so that's great. He gets to go to an awards ceremony. I don't think he's going to win. Sorry, Joaquin Phoenix. I was like, well, you'll have a nice night out at least. And then Christoph Waltz for Big Eyes. This, to me, is absolutely shocking. It might be a situation where Christoph Waltz has just become one of those actors that fills in blanks. He just gets nominated. Also, he's got Harvey behind him. But I've seen Big Eyes. I'm going to review it this weekend. And Christoph Waltz's performance is not, in my opinion, worthy of any awards. I think that he was just really over the top, had no nuance, and it was just really phoned it in. So for him to get a nomination just shows how brilliant Harvey is and how he can really work an awards room. All right, then Best Actress Drama. As many people were hoping, Jennifer Aniston for Cake. Again, not a lot of really great female performances this year. It's not a great year overall, I think, for female film as in the past. So no real clear frontrunners. But I think that's opened up the door for some nominations that some of you will be very happy with. So Jennifer Aniston for Cake. Felicity Jones for The Theory of Everything. I think she's very good in the movie, but I don't think that I think she's just in there because people are celebrating The Theory of Everything. Don't count on her to win. Julianne Moore for Still Alice. Julianne Moore is supposed to win. Everybody's saying that she's a front runner for this role. You'll see she's a double nominee in Best Actress Comedy or Musical in just a moment. But Julianne Moore, and that's also going to, I think, help push her to a win. Remember, Kate Winslet was a double nominee, and she won. So expect her to win for Still Alice. But then Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl. She was very good in the role. I have to remember to separate my reaction to the movie from her performance, and I think she does do a good job, and she's asked to do some very interesting things. If the Academy nominates her, the other big thing about this is that Gone Girl is a very edgy modern film. And if the Academy can recognize it as the Golden Globes have, that will mean kind of a change in the mindset of the Academy and the voters' bloc in general and Hollywood, from being very old school to being open to these little bit more risque, edgier films. Sometimes they seem to be okay with it sometimes, but Gone Girl was both edgy and modern. It wasn't like The Reader, which had a lot of nudity in it, but it was a Holocaust film, etc., about someone who was illiterate. The Academy eats that stuff up. And there aren't any issues here with Gone Girl. I mean, there's relationship issues, but it's not like a LGBT kind of a theme or true crime. It's totally fictional, and it's sometimes some people might feel hard to believe, but it's a very interesting movie. And if it maybe would show that the changing landscape of Hollywood and the work they're doing, maybe in the Academy with changing who the voters are. They're trying to add some diversification when they invite people in every year. If films like Gone Girl can get on the board, it's really a game changer going forward for what kind of movies can be considered awards contenders. And hats off to the awards campaign for it that got it on the board. None of these movies can be here without a very strong awards campaign that's run within the industry. All right, so then of course Reese Witherspoon for Wild. I think this this is just, another like Reese Witherspoon. She's been nominated and won before, so she just fills in the category. And it's kind of like, well, she made this movie expecting a nomination. Let's give it to her. I don't think she's going to win. So I think Julianne Moore for the win, but maybe you could see Jennifer Aniston or Rosamund Pike with an upset. Then Best Actress Comedy or Musical. Amy Adams for Big Eyes. Again, an interesting film. Again, going to review it, but I don't see an awards-worthy performance here. So the fact that she's here is, again, Harvey, you're a genius. Then Emily Blunt for Into the Woods. If you look at the Tony history for this musical, this makes perfect sense because one of the few Tonys that it won was for the role that Emily Blunt plays. So here it is, history repeating itself. Then here, Helen Mirren for The 100-Foot Journey. That's really interesting, maybe because of the more international flair of the film. I think, again, this is just Helen Mirren having a lot of respect and them needing to fill this category. Then Julianne Moore, Maps to the Stars. Incredible to see her nominated here because this film didn't run an ad campaign or a campaign for the Oscars. Really, it made a big splash. She won actually for Cannes for this role, Best Actress. So Julianne Moore, just an Oscar march here. So expect her to be winning here. Not in this category, I wouldn't. She could be a double win actually when I think about it. But I think it's unlikely, but expect her to probably take the drama and the Oscar. Then Quvenzhané Wallis for Annie. Isn't that great for Quvenzhané Wallis's career? She was a big nominee across the board in multiple award shows for her role in The Beasts of the Southern Wild, and then to so quickly have a repeat nomination is really impressive. I haven't seen Annie yet, although many people have because it's been leaked. But we'll see what happens if this does anything for the movie. But that's really a pleasant surprise, and the biggest thing that it's going to do is help her career. Then Best Supporting Actor. Now the rest of the categories aren't divided, by the way. They're not divided into drama, comedy, or musical. All right, so Best Supporting Actor. Robert Duvall for The Judge. What? Again, just filling the category. Ethan Hawke for Boyhood. This was not a surprise. He's very good in the role, but he's not going to win. And we'll get to that in a moment. But it's great to see him get a nomination for that. Then Edward Norton for Birdman. Nice to see some Birdman love for someone besides Michael Keaton and Emma Stone. They've been dominating a lot of the accolades for this film, but Edward Norton in the mix here, also helpful to his career. He needs to have a bit of a comeback himself. Mark Ruffalo for Foxcatcher. No Channing Tatum. He got left out. Everybody was nominated but him, and he has I would say, arguably the largest role in the film. So that's got to smart a little bit for Channing Tatum, and I don't think it's very respectful to him, and I'm a little disappointed. And we'll see what happens with the Oscars, but I guess they're not pushing hard enough for him. And maybe a lot of voters maybe they're not that evolved, but while they can nominate Gone Girl, they can't quite nominate Channing Tatum yet. I'm telling you, it's coming. I think it's a mistake not to have it happen here. But then the person who's going to win this is J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. It's the only nomination for the film, and it's because it's just such a strong connection. I think that he has so much momentum for this Best Supporting award that you should see J.K. Simmons just pick it up again and again and again during award season. All right, so then Best Supporting Actress, Patricia Arquette for Boyhood. She has a shot at actually winning, and again, it's an interesting thing to see these actors be recognized for their work, and something that was 12 years in the making. Although the L.R. Coltrane didn't get nominated, I think is also very interesting. But anyway, Patricia Arquette. Then Jessica Chastain for A Most Violent Year. Just saw that last night. I would also say this is filling the category. My review on that is coming shortly. Then Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game. She was nice. She did a nice job in the movie. Certainly as good as Benedict Cumberbatch. I think it was a great role for her, and I think this could be a turning point in her career. So great for her, and it's always a good idea to hook up with Harvey. He treats you right. Then Emma Stone for Birdman. That's great. I think this was a great role for Emma Stone with Cabaret that she also has going on right now. She's getting rave reviews for that performance on Broadway. I think it's great for her to take back her career after her little Spider-Man break, which she was, liked in the role, but that whole Amazing Spider-Man experiment just hasn't largely worked out, I'm afraid. So I'm glad that, while Andrew Garfield, her boyfriend and co-star, is having some trouble moving on, and maybe he won't. He's in a Martin Scorsese picture coming up. I think Emma Stone is just right back where she left off, so kudos to her. And then also Meryl Streep for Into the Woods. Never underestimate Meryl Streep. She could take an award for this as well. Into the Woods, of course, is nominated for Best Picture, Comedy, or Musical, so don't underestimate her in this category. This one's a little more wide open, though. I would say Patricia Arquette, Emma Stone, or Meryl Streep. All right, so then Best Director. Wes Anderson, The Grand Budapest Hotel. Fantastic for him. I think it was great. As I said when I reviewed the film, he broke out of his mold. He took his best qualities and applied them to a new genre. He made a thriller, and I'd like to see him continue to challenge himself going forward now that he sees the kind of results that he can get. Then also Ava DuVernay for Selma. This is a big deal. She is a woman director, a black woman director, so that's double jeopardy. She's apparently very good. This movie is getting a huge late in the game entry on the awards radar, but very, very strong. It's just come out like a meteor out of nowhere, racing towards these award ceremonies. So her nomination alone, she should be getting some calls for projects going forward. So that's very, very, very exciting. And I bet Warner Brothers is like, damn, maybe we shouldn't have hired our Wonder Woman director when a new one just came on the board. Catherine Bigelow isn't the only game in town. Then David Fincher for Gone Girl. This is a very big deal and very funny with the conversation that's currently going on about him and Jobs and Cleopatra and all that. So David Fincher to get a nomination here, he's still got it, and he can still make people talk and think, and it's very commendable to him and the film. Then Alejandro Inarritu for Birdman. Don't underestimate his ability to take this, because what he did was so inventive. Also, same with Richard Linklater for Boyhood. The other directors are very, very good, but in terms of the inventiveness and the complicated ship that they had to steer and captain, their films, Birdman is the one long continuous take, and then Boyhood is shot over the course of like 12 years. So really, it's a very big deal in both cases, so I think they're probably your front runners, as I think personally they should be. Then for Best Screenplay, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Gone Girl, Birdman, Boyhood, and The Imitation Game. All very, very strong. I would think that Birdman or Gone Girl would probably be your winners here. Again, Gone Girl, I didn't like it, but made people think, and you can see the kind of nominations that it resulted in. And I did say that going forward, I would consider hiring Gillian Flynn to write screenplays. I even picked her someone I would pick for Wonder Woman because I think she's a strong female talent. Maybe just somebody needs to watch her a little bit, but she's also now a nominated screenwriting talent, and that's a very, very big deal. Also, her nomination and David Fincher here is going to help HBO's Utopia quite a bit because now it's from the award-winning team or award-nominated team behind Gone Girl. So I would think that Gone Girl or Birdman would probably be likely to win here. Then, Best Animated Film. Big Hero 6, of course, from Disney. Book of Life from Guillermo del Toro and Fox. I think that's great for this movie to be in this category. That's a big deal. And it's a very, very good film. A little simplistic, but it's beautiful to look at, and there's certainly a lot worthy of recognition. How to Train Your Dragon 2 from DreamWorks Animation. The Box Trolls from Leica. Box Trolls doing very well in the animation industry in terms of recognition, so don't be surprised to see it, be a strong contender here. But then, of course, the Lego Movie, and I think this boils down to the Box Trolls and the Lego Movie. We'll see which one takes it. I'd like to see the Lego Movie take it, because you know what? Just because it was highly commercial and so successful doesn't mean it wasn't very inventive and really did a lot with, animation and Legos in general, and it was a movie that everybody could enjoy. My money and my preference would be for the Lego Movie here. All right, then Best Foreign Language Film. We have Force Majeure from Sweden. We have Get, the Trial of Vivian Amsalam from Israel. Ida from Poland. Leviathan from France, and Tangerines from Georgia. The only one I've really heard a lot about is Force Majeure, so I guess the one you've heard the most about is usually the one that might take it. But I'm curious, for those of you who've seen those films, do they belong there? Are you rooting for them? And do you think the best representation of foreign language film? Then I included the Best Original Song and Best Original Scores here because I thought there were some interesting things about them. I don't usually cover that category. But Best Original Song, Mockingjay Part 1, as you could say, did get a nomination, but not for the Hanging Tree song, which I think was a mistake because that's the song that's really caught on and had political inspiration, both in the film and in real life. So I would have liked to have seen that nominated. Instead, the Lourdes song got nominated, Yellow Flicker Beat. Then also you see Big Eyes by Lana Del Rey from the movie Big Eyes, Glory by John Legend from Selma, Mercy Is by Patti Smith and Lenny Kaye from Noah. Noah got on the board, that's nice. Not totally forgotten. And then Opportunity from Annie, and of course that Mockingjay song. Another nomination for Annie, that's great. And to pick that song, I think that's very, very interesting. Of course, original, I guess it had to be added for the movie, but that it got on there, very, very nice. Then Best Original Score, and you'll see why, you can see, I'm sure right away why I included this, but let's just go through it. The Imitation Game, Alexandre Desplat for that score. The Theory of Everything by Johan Johansson. Then Gone Girl by Trent Reznor. Boy, Trent Reznor hooking up with David Fincher is like one of the best things that ever happened to his career. He, of course, was successful beforehand, but this has just taken him to a whole new level. It's kind of like Pharrell Williams, suddenly the Oscar-nominated singer-songwriter. Then Birdman, Antonio Sanchez, and Interstellar, Hans Zimmer. I have to say, as much as Gone Girl might be something that is an audience favorite, my money would be on Birdman with Antonio Sanchez, because the jazz soundtrack there is really fantastic. It's a big part of the movie, and it's like consistent throughout, and it's used very inventively. It really helps to create the mood of the film. It's very in there, like on a very basic and organic level. So that's what I think would take the win there. So I'm curious, what do you think of these nominations? Do you agree that they're a crowd pleaser, or are you displeased? And what do you think of Harvey's complete domination? Also, which ones do you think will make it through to the final round, the Oscars? Because remember, there's about half the nominations available, and not in Best Picture because they have about 9 or 10 nominations there, but in the actor categories for Best Actor and Best Actress, they're going to have to narrow it down to just 5. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to my analysis, and stay tuned for awards coverage season throughout the Oscars, all the way through the Oscars. All right, thanks for watching.